Hi everyone, this is Clara with Card Stamping with Clara. I'm back again this week with another set of cards from a different set. Today we're going to be featuring this Humming Along set. It's got the cute little hummingbird in it. It's got a beautiful flower in it. It's got three really nice sentiments. Thank you, hope you feel better really soon, wishing you an amazing birthday. Then we're going to also use a sentiment, which is this one, wishing you a quick and complete recovery from this Healing Hugs set. And this little sprig of flowers, at least we made them look like flowers, from this Healing Hugs set as well. We're going to put those on the inside. So those are the two sets that we're going to be using today as far as the stamps go. For the dies, whoops, I just dropped one, sorry. I'm going to be using this 2 1/4 inch circle scalloped edged framelit for to put behind one of the sentiments. We're going to also be using the flower framelit. I got a piece of tape here clinging along from the hummingbird framelit die set, and we're also going to be using a piece to do some embossing. That's the one I just dropped. The other die set that we're going to use today is this stitched label framelits die. This is the piece that makes a really pretty little border around a sentiment. We're going to use that. And there again, we're going to use a piece of embossing. So I will recover this in a few minutes if I can. I'm not quite sure where it fell, but maybe we'll just leave it because I already have one cut out anyway. The card that we're featuring is this one. We're going to make this pretty daffodil colored card. It's a get well card. Hope you're feeling better really soon. And it's got some of the Tropical Escape DSP. This is something we have in our annual catalog. And I found that it worked out really well with this particular set. And this is the embossing that we're going to put in behind the flower and dress it up some. And then the inside says, wishing you a quick and complete recovery. And there's the little sprig I was talking about. So that's the card we're making. And I wanted to show you how they looked in different colors. This is the exact same card. It's just a different color. This one's done in pink with some green stripes that are more colorful. This one is done in the Highland Heather grape color. And now this DSP came from a different pack. It didn't come from the Tropical Escape. It was from Tranquil Textures is the one this one came from. This is one with our little hummingbird in it. I embossed the hummingbird in silver, and then I used some old DSP that I actually had that was silver striped, and then added some silver accents. And this makes this one look a little bit more masculine. You might could use it for a man. And it says, wishing you a complete recovery, a quick and complete recovery. This one is using the gingham, the Gala gingham in the Highland Heather. Same sentiment, same flower on this one. This one's got a little bow. And on the inside, it says comfort and healing to you. That came from a different set. Here's one that I made into a thank you card. And it has the lovely lipstick foil around it again. Made some little butterflies out of the foil that really dressed this one up. Also embossed it with one of our embossing folders and added a flower. And this is a framelit that cut this one out from the hummingbird framelit set, the the one I just showed you. So on the inside, this one says, words can't express just how deeply your love and support has been appreciated. So you can change them up anyway. Put a little butterfly on the inside of that one. Here's one where I colored the hummingbird, and we've got this little cutout background in this framelit set as well. And here's the one that cut the die out again, that pretty shaped, I don't know what you would call it, but it's just pretty. That's all I'll say. I added a little, a little touch of sparkle to this one. And this one says, may your day bring just what it should, happiness, health, and everything good. So you can put all kinds of things in here. And I was embossing, and I decided, well, I wonder what this would look like on black. And so I embossed this little hummingbird on black, put some gingham colored DSP underneath it, and a little birdie told me it was your birthday. And then I put this on the inside. It says, happy birthday, and hugs, and happiness, and hope from your heart straight to yours, from my heart straight to yours. Put a little flower in there to add a little touch. And this one was the one that I was really perplexed. I thought, what am I going to do? I put this gold on this black hummingbird, and it came to me that, black is the color of the 40th birthday. So I made this one into a 40th birthday, wishing you an amazing birthday, and some of the same sentiments on the inside, and hugs and happiness and hope from your heart straight to, from my heart straight to yours. I keep wanting to say it backwards this morning. This is one that I made into a Mother's Day card. It's very similar, almost identical to the hope you feel better really soon. It's just got a different sentiment. And this pink, instead of the daffodil delight. And then this has got a little saying for mothers. Our love is one that covers years through life's joys and sometimes tears. A bond that stands the test of time, mother and daughter, heart intertwined. And I thought that was really sweet. So a daughter could give that to her mother. And another one, I made this one, hummingbird, into a Mother's Day card. Looks like I got a speck of something there. And I used some of the dotted DSP that matches this balmy blue to make flowers out of, which was kind of a different touch, but I like the way it turned out. I hope you do too. And the same sentiment on this one. And this was another little hummingbird that I had colored. And I put this in behind, I put this Grapefruit Grove trellis in behind, and put some of the flowers that we used last week growing up through it. Just says hello to one of the loveliest people I know. So there you go. We have lots of cards out of this set. When I first looked at it, I wasn't so sure that I could come up with much of anything, but I was surprised when all was said and done. We'll take the Stamparatus and do a little bit of stamping to start with. Let's see, I'm not sure whether, yeah, that's the right one. Okay, make sure that I have the right one. I think I've got ink on my hand yet. I didn't mean to cover myself up, but that's me. Okay, we're going to use the Memento ink again because we have the Stampin' Blends out again. And I'm just doing this for the benefit of those that are unfamiliar with stamping, to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So, there's the flower and the sentiment, and maybe the flower of the sentiment could use just a little bit more. Try to make sure, yeah, I like for them to be bold. It might just be me, but I like for them to be bold. And, whoops, trying to reach over here and get my simple chamois, so I can wipe that off a bit. If you're tuning in for the first time, this simple chamois is just a cleaning, I don't know that you call it a cloth, it's kind of foamy, but it's just called a simple chamois, and it will clean the water-based inks off just beautifully with just a little bit of work. And then you can lay them over, and if you want to do a really deep cleaning, you can. All right, let me lay this aside. All right. I don't think we're going to go ahead and stamp this, but I had two more positioned. I've got them already cut out as usual. So that just shows somebody what we're talking about when we're talking about stamping with the Stamparatus. And here's my little packet. I'm going to see if we can maybe speed things up a little bit. I realize the videos are getting a little bit long, and I don't mean to take up a world of your time. I will say this. I used the Dark Daffodil Delight, I used the Light Daffodil Delight, and the Dark Granny Apple Green blends on this particular card. And I don't know how well you can see this, but I'm going to hold it up. I basically went over this with the Light Daffodil Delight first, and then went back in and added a little dark in the center, and then I blended the two together with the Light Daffodil Delight. And that way it kind of gives your flower a three-dimensional look. It looks like that it's more like a flower instead of a just a piece of cardboard or cardstock. Okay, let me lay these over kind of in order so you can see what we're going to do here. I'll lay that back there. This is the Daffodil Delight. It's a half a sheet of cardstock that I'm going to use for the base today. It's 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches, scored at 4.25 inches. So the base is ready. This is the Tropical Escape, one of the designs out of the Tropical Escape pack. They're a little 6 by 6 inch pack. And you got the light green stripes. And I'm going to hold it way up. These framelits that I used have stitching all the way around. It makes them look really cute. So I used that large size framelit, and then I used this smaller stitched framelit to cut this one out. It's got stitching all the way around it too, and the stitched all around framelit set is the one that I got this background embossing from, so it adds a nice touch. Then the flower I've already talked about. And this is what I cut out with the 2.25 inch scalloped circle framelit. Then this came out of the stitched all around framelit set that left this pretty designed with the stitching around here. And of course, you know that the Hope You Feel Better Really Soon is a stamp from the hummingbird, humming along, not hummingbird, but humming along. And then the inside, wishing you a quick and complete recovery. And I also used the stamping blends to add a little touch of color to this sprig of what I call flowers. And then I have a little white bow that I tied to go on the front. Okay, let's glue them together, and we're going to call it a day then, and it won't take up so much of your time. If this turns out to be that you want more information than this, then I will, try to be more detailed. But most people, once they get started with the cards, they know how to cut and run things through the Big Shot. So we're going to glue this to the front. And like I said, this was the largest framelit in the set. Let me see. Nope, that's not straight. Like I said, you sometimes just have to lift them up where you can see them a little better. Well, now I'm too far that way. You just have to be careful not to seal these things down too much when you are trying to get them on there correctly. Well, let's try it again. Can't seem to get my borders balanced here this morning. Well, I hope this doesn't turn into be a lost cause. I certainly don't usually have this much trouble, but you know, we people sometimes have those issues. I've just never had this much trouble getting it where I wanted it. Okay, finally, I think that's all right. I don't like crooked edges. I'm just not ever satisfied when I feel like that it's not the way it needs to be. Now, this little piece that I embossed, I'm going to glue it to one corner, or up in the upper right hand corner. I'm not going to make it, I'm going to leave a little border around it and hope I get this one a little less trouble than the other one, because we're only going to line up a couple of edges here, just so it's not, okay, that looks good. All right. That offset gives it a little character, I think. And the flower goes on next, and it goes on with dimensionals. It lifts it up off the page. Excuse me, I'm going to reach over here and get my dimensionals. If anybody doesn't know, they come in a little pack of 300. And they're real handy to have. I found that I use them more and more all the time. Okay. I'll put that one right there. I just try to space them where I think the flower will stand up and not sag anywhere. Everything is sticking to me this morning. You can just barely get one of these under the leaf, but you can get it there. And I've become a great fan of clipping some of these little edges off to get into these tiny little places. I'm going to take my scissors and trim right up this side where the dimensionals, where they just have an edging to, you know, where they've been cut. And it makes a great piece to put up the stem of a flower. And a little narrow piece like this, you can usually bend it a little bit. Okay. I think that'll do it. Let me look on the other side. Yeah, that's okay. All right. Pop these off. Looks like we might have a nice day here in North Carolina today. I understand there's some bad weather on the way. My daughter-in-law was telling me that we might not be done with the ice yet, which is something we don't much care for around here, but and that's something we don't have any control over either. Okay. All right, I'm going to put this up towards the top, not right at the top. And what I'm aiming for is I'm trying to show some of the embossing, because that's what makes it pretty. That lifts it up. Now then, we're going to glue these pieces together. Yeah. I started to reach over and I realized my glue just had it was a lid laying there. And I set my glue down over here on the other side. Okay, now then. Of course, you don't have to put this little piece of Daffodil Delight in behind this sentiment, but I think it adds some extra color. I'm going to wipe off my hands just a little bit. I've got some sticky. I don't want that on the card. Now then, now that this is balanced and on, we'll turn this over and we're going to put dimensionals on the back of that as well. This is a real easy little card to make, and as you can see, I made several of them, and it didn't seem like it took very long, especially if you cut out the pieces, the same kinds of pieces at the same time. Every time you cut out one, you can cut out 2 or 3 just about as quick. So once you have the framelit out or what have you, you can certainly stamp flowers, have some paper lined up. That's one thing about the stamp apparatus. Once you get it positioned, you can surely just keep stamping, which I really like. Okay, now then, let me see if I can get this level. I am positioning this to make sure that I cover up the bottom of this stamp. I think that looks a lot better than just having it sticking out somewhere. All right, next thing we're going to do is glue in the inside. Like I said, there's a little colored things. It's amazing how much it added just to put that tiny little bit of color. Okay. This piece measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. Okay, I think that's where I want it. See, sometimes they go down easy and sometimes they don't, and I don't know what the difference is. All right, as you're seeing, it's not going to take any time to put this card together. And now we're going to put a little bow on and trim it up, and we'll be finished with this card. I would ask you, if you would, to subscribe to my channel. That's very beneficial to me, and it also helps you know when I put up a new video, which so far we've been able to get up 1 a week, and that is the goal. This is the one for this coming Friday, and this is Tuesday morning early, so I'm trying to kind of stay ahead. I may not always be able to do that. These are glue dots, in case you may not know, and I'm at the very end of a roll, so I'm trying to use it up. I'm going to put 2 or 3 glue dots on the back so I can kind of secure it a little bit better. I'm going to go up right under the flower, and then I'm going to trim off some of these ends. Okay, that should do it. That looks nice. And since you don't want the tails of the bow to be over your sentiment, I'm going to cut them right much shorter. Something I can't stress enough is keep a sharp pair of scissors when you're cutting bows. It just makes it so much easier. All right, there you go. Hope you feel better really soon, and wishing you a quick and complete recovery. And that bright daffodil ought to make anybody smile a little bit. So I'll lay it down here. And again, this is going to be a quick one just because I thought maybe it might be better to save some of your time than trying to give you too much information, especially if it's information you already have. Again, I'm Card Stampin' with Clara. That's my website, CardStampinWithClara.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I have a host code here. If you spend less than $150, I'd appreciate it if you would use that. If you spend as much as $150, then you can get $15 worth of free merchandise. To try to get people started with your first $50 order, I'm offering a free Memento ink stamp pad. And if you already have one, I'll just send you a refill for one instead of the pad. It's a really great time of the year to join Stampin' Up! It's also a good time of the year to get free merchandise. From January to March 31st, Celebration is going on. And Celebration is the time of year when you can earn free merchandise. But after March 31st, it will not be available. So if you're at all interested, take a look at the catalog. There's a link to the catalog on my website. And if you would like a free catalog, I'll be glad to send you one. Any way that I can help you, I'll be more than glad to do it. I would appreciate